All right. Bonus round questions with Matt Willingham. Okay. What is your go-to order at your restaurant in your little community where you live?
A hamburger.
A hamburger. Where from?
Yep.
Which
I really like
which
In and Out.
In and Out? Do you get the double double?
Oh yeah.
Is that
With
what
cheese.
the double double? There's this little place on the corner right opposite, right near where I live, and it's called In and Out, and it is not like In and Out. They've like totally ripped it off. It's
You
like,
thought you were gonna escape the knockoffs leaving
yeah,
Iraq, and it's right there.
it's like a meat pie shop, In and Out deli. I'm like, oh, if only this was. But anyway, no.
Oh man, I love that.
I've only had a couple In and Out burgers because they don't really have them much outside of California, do
I
they?
had some great burgers at the Gold Coast. Good
Oh, you
burgers.
did, yeah,
You guys know what's up.
yeah.
Anyway,
Aussie burgers. The
is it common to have a fried egg?
Yes.
That's a
So the
thing, right? I
traditional
love
Aussie
that.
burger is, growing up for me it was more like this rissole meat. It's hard to even explain. You got to watch the movie The Castle, the Australian movie The Castle, and it's kind of in there. And it's beetroot, there's alfalfa, there's bacon, there's a pineapple, there's an egg. I mean, that is your typical Aussie burger.
So good.
Completely
So
different.
good.
But yeah, very good. What's something that you're curious about right now?
I'm hmm, what? I'm curious about what it's going to take to teach my kids well during the pandemic and
Mm,
to be a good partner to my spouse.
mm,
And I'm curious just about what effect all of this is having on them
mm-hmm,
in such
mm-hmm,
formative years. So, but basically, I guess the deeper thing is like, what are they learning?
mm-hmm,
So, from education, what are they learning every time we tell them not to go near people? Like, that's the opposite of all the stuff I was just talking about empathy, you know?
yeah,
So, very curious to see what this pandemic and the social distancing is going to mean long term.
yeah. Because you're thrust into homeschooling right now and working
Yeah,
from home, and it's just like a complete,
crazy.
yeah. Well, I'm sure your kids, as they already have experienced some incredible, wonderful experiences in their life, they're gonna come through just fine. It's us adults, I'm sure, that aren't gonna fare too well.
Yeah.
Um, what's something I should have asked you about, but I didn't?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got confused by the question. That's a great question. What's something you should have asked me about?
Maybe like the goblins and elves that you.
I'm a nerd.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know, man. That sounds critical of you, and I don't want to be critical of you. You were great. Like
Well, you know what? You kind of feel
you
that.
didn't ask me about belonging. We said that we were going to talk more
We,
about this dynamic of belonging versus growth versus
yeah,
trans. How does that all work together? I think it's probably wise you didn't because it gets like really philosophical and abstract really fast. But
yeah,
I
yeah.
got some okay thoughts on it. I think that
You
I'd love to
do,
share. Maybe next
and
season.
I think we'll definitely get back for that. Maybe we almost need a new different podcast genre for that. I think to go there, but I was curious about learning your love for like, are these goblins and elves you kind of shared with me that you kind of, it's a quirky
I
thing about?
love
Are they
Lord
the
of the
ones that
Rings.
you kind of paint and things, or is it these ones that just
No,
kind of,
come on, those are the super nerds. I'm not like that.
yeah,
No,
I
I'm a
thought
nerd.
maybe you've got like a closet just full of like all these little
I
painted
mean, I'm
figures
not
that you've.
that into Star Wars. I know some people love it. I'm not that into like a lot of different sort of kinds of made up.
Marvel.
I just have Marvel, yeah, X-Men. I mean, it's okay, but um, I love Lord of the Rings. I just
Mm,
always, as a kid, loved those books. I love high fantasy.
hmm
I played Dungeons and Dragons for the first time like a couple months ago. I grew up in a religious tradition that kind of looks at that as being like evil,
Taboo.
and so to now, that's that why you were judgmentally shaking your head. Thanks for that. I noticed a little bit of a judgmental head shake there, but I love that stuff. I think it's really fun.
Yeah. Ah, so cool. I'm kind of with you. I mean, I've watched Star Wars, but yeah, I couldn't even. I don't think I've watched more than one Marvel movie. Believe it or not,
Nice.
it's
That
it's
would put you in the minority, it feels like,
very
among people
much
I know.
minority. Yeah, I was told that I look like Captain America. I don't know if that makes any
Oh,
sense.
I see it.
You see it? Yeah.
Totally.
There we go. Well,
Yeah.
maybe without the beard, but Captain America. My son has this Captain America little outfit he was dressed up in yesterday. He looked super cute. I'll have to put that up on the Patreon. Uh, it'll probably get more likes than anything else. You know, whenever you put your kids up on anything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Which of the countries? What country would you want to live in other than the one you're in right now, if you had the choice?
Laos.
Laos. Wow.
We only visited a few times, but it was so beautiful. It
Yeah.
felt so preserved. I mean, I know they've been through a lot, but it's landlocked. It felt removed off the beaten path. There's just something about it that felt both tons of opportunity to learn, to grow, to serve, and just like great food, great culture. I'd love to go back and live there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Would.
you experience it in a completely different way when you're living there
Totally,
as
man.
opposed
When
to
you have
visiting.
no return ticket, it changes everything.
Oh man, I don't know if it, it's like one of these. I'm getting deep here. It's supposed to be bonus quick round, but I remember there was this. There's this thing called the walkabout that Aboriginal Australian men take their children on, and they teach the young boys, and I'm sure the women do with the young girls as well. They teach them in this very sparse desert land where to find and where to survive and where to, on this little plant you can, has, in the middle of I mean, this place is the outback desert. It's like complete barren.
Yeah.
And I remember someone sharing with me, wherever you go, whether it's in Laos or Iraq or Italy or wherever it is, when you live somebody, you don't have a return ticket and that's your place. If you're going to survive, you've got to learn to find your sustenance there and not stay connected to where you're from. You've got to learn to find your friendships, your community, everything. If you're still tethered somehow in some way, and unfortunately technology enables us so easily to be tethered elsewhere, you're not going to survive and even thrive, in that place. And it just made me think of that as you were talking about no return
That's
ticket
so good.
and experiencing something, and that whole process of like everywhere you is all that you need to survive,
Yeah.
even in the most difficult, foreign, crazy places. You just got to
Yeah.
learn where to find it. But anyway, I digress.
I love that, by the way.
What do you wish you'd known when you started out on, let's say you were packing your bags and you're heading off? What do you wish you knew?
Well, what you just said was really just a great word. I was thinking when you were talking, like, man, I wish somebody would have said that to me. I wish that I would have known better when it's okay to let go of something and when to hold on, which I guess is so broad, but there were just so many things that I held on to that I felt like I needed that I wish I'd have let go of. And there are so many things that I sort of threw out that I kind of had to go back and like pick back up and acknowledge I was wrong. I wish, and I guess that's just your 20s in some ways and maybe just life, but there was a lot of knee-jerk, rash decision-making on my part. And I wish I would have made decisions a little more slowly.
Wow.
Ask more questions.
I like that, Matt. Thank you. Me too. Who's someone that you look up to, someone that's inspiring for you?
People that you probably never heard of, just in the community mostly.
Yeah.
I don't really have like, I mean, there are people I respect and enjoy. I really enjoy Brene Brown and her work. I mean, you heard me talk about empathy. I'm just following her. My wife, and is someone I really look up to and respect. But I think a lot of it is just the refugees that we continue to meet, just seeing all that they've come through and their resilience and their ability to find sustenance right around them again and again and again. Like, I love them and really look up to them a lot.
Yeah. Well, the last question is in honor of the theme of this podcast. Why does justice matter to you?
It's a great question. I mean, some of this is kind of a classic golden rule thing. I mean, I want to experience justice in my own life. Why would I ever imagine that I should get it and others shouldn't? So I think that sense of, that people say a lot, at least in the United States, like justice, it has to be justice for all, or it's really not justice at all. Like, if it's not for all, then it's not really justice at all. Like we have to have that mutuality, that shared freedom, that shared sense of justice. Otherwise, it all breaks down. Everything falls apart. Civilization, society. I mean, we're watching it right now in the United States as there are select groups of people who are not receiving justice. And then they are being persistently denied justice. What are they being taught? That they can't rely on their nation, their compatriots, their neighbors. It all falls apart. But if we actually choose to live and pursue justice for our community members, our friends, our neighbors, our countrymen, then it just works, So I don't know how life can work apart from justice. Otherwise, you get back to Stone Age, eye for an eye kind of stuff, and just descend back into chaos. Justice is the only way to continue forward, to continue evolving and growing. What future do we have if not a just future?
And I think you could take over this podcast, Matt.
No way. I talk too much. No. You're so good at listening and letting people fill the space.
That is so good. Alrighty, Matt. I know it's dinner time. Your wife is gracious enough to let me chat with you 2 days in a row around dinner time. And look, man, please give her my greetings. Say hi to Kayla for us. I know Sarah would want to just give her a big hug as well.
Yeah.
She could.
Please say hi to yours for us.
And your beautiful family. We'll talk again soon, man. I appreciate you. Thanks, Matt, for doing
Thanks
this
so much.
for me. Thanks.
Appreciate it, Sam.
Really appreciate you. All right, take care, man. Let's talk again soon.
Bye.